Okay, for the park project, you're going to need to create a feature data set, some feature classes, a geodatabase, and most of the project is going to focus on data collection and map generalization. So I need to think of some file structures. So I'm going to create a new folder. And in that folder, I'm going to create a geodatabase where I right-click, New, File Geodatabase, and I'm just going to stick with the boring old name Park Project. Remember not to use spaces when you do your setup names. I'm going to right-click the File Geodatabase and create a new feature data set. And I'm going to choose the projected coordinate system in the state plane for Oregon in feet. And then I am going to save my ArcMap document in that folder. I don't have any data in this map yet, so there is no coordinate system set for the map. So if I look at this map, it has no idea what the coordinate system will be, and it will take the coordinate system of the first piece of data that I put in here unless I set it now. So I'm going to go ahead and set this to the coordinate system that I use, just to make sure that everything is the way I wanted it. So projected state systems Oregon in feet. And I'm also going to right-click Park Project Geodatabase and make that my default geodatabase. So this means whatever I do from now on, the program will look for that first. Then I'm going to add a base map through Add Data. I'm going to go to GIS Servers and choose ArcGIS Online. And I'm going to pick the world imagery. And the world imagery is unprojected, and so this is the warning that I have two different coordinate systems, but it will project the world imagery on the fly. So you can see that it's a conic projection. I'm zooming into Oregon and into the Willamette Valley, and I'm going to find a nice little simple park for this demo. Let's see, where am I? There is, okay. And I don't want that one because that is not a simple park. So here's a very simple park. Probably too simple for this project, but it'll work for what I want you to do right now. So you're going to kind of look at the park and see what features are there. I see a sidewalk, a playground, some vegetation, and the park area. So now you're going to have to create different feature classes that you're going to use, and I'm just going to walk you through one. So you right click on the feature data set, New, Feature Class, and the first one is going to be Park Area. That's going to be Area or Grounds. Excuse me. Okay, so this is all of the first surface features, so grounds, sidewalks, bark mulch, whatever's on the ground, and it's going to be a polygon. I'm going to take this default. Now these are my attribute tables, so I'm going to be able to identify ground cover by grass, by asphalt, whatever happens to be the surface. So my attribute field is going to be grounds. And this is going to be categorical data, so it will be text. And I'm going to finish that. All right. So now I can add this empty feature data set or feature class to my data. If I open this up, you can see that it has the attribute table I set up, but it's empty. There's no data here yet, no information. So now I'm going to start editing, and I'm going to start with the sidewalks. And the screen capture program makes this run a little slow. When I click the editor toolbar, the editing toolbar opens up and I can choose start editing, and I need to choose the attribute that I want to edit. And I just noticed that when I created that grounds area, it was added and then I added it a second time, so I'm going to remove that one so that I only have one in my map. And so this is the grounds. It's a polygon. I'm going to click the polygon and I'm going to zoom in so I can get a clear shot of this sidewalk, and you can see that's about as clear as I'm going to get. Click the polygon again, and every time I use my left mouse click, it creates a vertices. I have to go back to polygon. I can use the hand to move around, and what you'll notice is I'm kind of trailing this shadow feature. I'm going to use the hand again. And if I click outside the area that I don't want that vertices, I can right click and delete that one. Gets a little harder down here because the sidewalk curves under trees. And at some point I'm guesstimating, but I've been to this park so I have a kind of a good idea. And you can see that this polygon feature moves in on around itself. I'm going to move down. I'm going to pause the recording because this part's boring while I do this, and I'll pick it up in just a second. Then when you've come back around where you started, you right click and you say finish sketch. What I did halfway through this was I took out the color for the fill and just made it empty with red outlines so that I could actually see the sidewalk a little better. I was having trouble identifying the edges, so there you go. And I'm going to save edits, stop editing, and there's my sidewalk feature. If I open up my attribute table, I now have a record in there, and under the category grounds I can start editing, open up my attribute table, and I can type in sidewalk. And I also now know how much area of this park is sidewalk. And save my edits. Okay. So now I have a sidewalk feature, and I could start using the same method, now create the grass features. So I would go back in, start editing the grounds again, and now I'm just going to do a really coarse feature here. One of the things that you'll have to do, and I'll show you this in the tutorial, is to set the snapping so that your grounds, your two different ground layers, actually the edges will snap together so that you don't have gaps or overlaps in your park. So let's say if that was the entire park, I would say save edits. I could go here, and in this one I could type in grass. It tells me how much area of that section is grass. And now, whoops, I'm going to stop editing. Save edits, stop editing. Now with my park, with two different categories, I can go into the symbology categories, and I could make the sidewalk a light gray, and I can make the grass a nice grassy green, and be able to symbolize my map in that way.